Hello guys, and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video we're going to talk about my journey so far, because it's been far from smooth.
Salve.
Hello?
Si può allontanare con questa... Se ha fatto delle riprese la denunciamo.
This is not on.
Ok.
That was super intense. Oh gosh, I'm in a part of Italy. I'm in Italy. I'm right on the border with France. I'm in a little town called Ventimiglia. It sits on the border, and it's a cowboy town. It's a cowboy town. It really is. I don't even know how to explain this. So I got here to change train. Okay. I got off the train, walked outside, looked to the right, and there was a man. He looked to be in his 50s, maybe his 60s, grey hair. And there were some policemen who were shouting at him. He wasn't wearing a mask, so the policemen were shouting at him. There's about 20 policemen there. This man ignored what the police were telling him, carried on walking. He just carried on walking past them, didn't bother them. He couldn't wear a mask. You could clear, it's not exactly warm today, but he had on a big jacket, and he had a rucksack on, and yeah, okay, so it must have been quite warm for him. The police tell him to put on the mask. One of them grabs him, pushes him, and he doesn't fall to the ground, but he's hanging onto these rails. He's frail, okay? He's not a young guy. So I get the camera out quickly. Get the camera out and start recording the aftermath. And the police swiftly intervene. Yeah. So what you just saw is the policeman approaching me with a baton. Now listen, if someone's going to approach you with a baton, you're going to be wary. But I ignored him. Okay, ignored him, carried on filming, but I was looking the other direction as if I wasn't filming. And bam, he's asked me to leave the station. Either leave or get inside the station, one or the other. I said, what's the problem? Am I not allowed to be here? Is it illegal for me to be there? He couldn't speak English. So I went inside the station. I came back out, and when I came back out, he was still there, and all of his bosses were there too. His bosses. So his bosses turned around, they saw me, ran to me. They ran to me. Passport. Where's your passport? Where's your ID? I said, okay. Gave them my passport. He said, follow me. So anyway, I followed him into the police station, where we started doing paperwork, started copying, took a photocopy, started making calls. And of course they did all the checks, and a rather nice police lady, Italian police lady with a British accent, which was nice to hear, pleasant on the ears in that sort of situation. She explained to me this. She explained to me that you cannot record here. The train station is private, and you cannot record here. There is access to the public, but it is a private station, and on this private station you cannot record. You can't make recordings. You can't make recordings of the police. That's what they said. And it just made me think, wow, really, the police state is accelerating here in Europe. This never used to be the case. We weren't like America. This wasn't like America over here. The police, you couldn't tell you what to do. You had to do it, or else they'd get physical. It doesn't happen in Europe. but I just watched it happen. I literally just watched it happen. And I couldn't intervene. Let me tell you the reason why I couldn't intervene. Right. For one, I can't speak Italian. For one. For two, I didn't really want to miss this train. Okay. There's only 2 trains, and the next one would have been, I don't know, 2 o'clock. Another 2 hours from now. So I didn't want to miss this train. Number 3, the colour of my skin. It's a big factor here on the borders here, because you've got a lot of African migrants, especially East African migrants from Sudan, from Eritrea, Ethiopia. They're all coming up here. A lot of Ethiopians speak Italian even before they leave Ethiopia. Okay, and most of them are heading towards Paris and London. That's where they're focused on getting to. Okay, so they get here, they get to Italy, they work their way up Italy. Okay, they get into Italy either on a boat or whatever. No, it's normally on a boat. They work their way up. They work their way up to the far west northern corner of Italy, like where we are now, right where we are now. They work their way up here, and then they do everything in their power to cross the border into France. Okay? Getting into France is their priority, because once they're in France, that's it. They can pretty much get to wherever they need to get to. They're trying to get to Northern Europe, the rich countries, Sweden, the Netherlands, Germany. So once they're in France, they can easily get there. If they don't, then they can stay in Paris. So there are many Africans here, right? Now, of course, I don't look Cushitic, or I don't look like I'm from Sudan. I don't look like a Nubian. I look like a West African, right? I look like one. I know this. These guys here, these police, they don't know this. Of course, they don't. They're small town policemen. They see a lot happening. This border situation is a big thing, so you've got people coming across the border trying to get into France. And you've got the COVID situation at the same time. The police didn't even ask for to see a COVID test from me when they took me into the office. They didn't care about any virus or anything like that. They wanted to know whether I was here legally. So it's a crazy situation. As you can see outside, it's beautiful out here. It's a horrible situation. As I was coming into Ventimiglia on the train, I could see some sort of place where African migrants were being fed. There was a place there, a centre, some sort of centre for migrants. And I went in. I didn't take my camera out because it's too hot there, it's too on top. The police told me specifically, don't take the camera out again. Okay? So I was lucky to get the footage that you see right now. It's the second police station I've been in as many days. Oh my gosh. I haven't even told you about the police station in Marseille. Wow. So anyway, a lot to tell you here. So what they do is the migrants are allowed on the train here in Italy. So they take the train here, and then literally one station up, you're getting towards Nice. So you're crossing the border into France. As soon as they get onto this train, the Africans get onto the train and then go into France, there'll be a bunch of French policemen there. They'll get on board the train, they take all the African migrants up and they put them on the next train back to Italy. Okay? That is what's happening at this present moment. They get sent back to Italy, they go to Ventimiglia, and then of course the police there don't do anything about them. They want them to leave Italy. They want them gone. So they just keep trying. it's not illegal for them to cross the borders, especially if they have asked for amnesty in Italy. There's nothing they can do. So if they have refugee status here in Italy, they're not going to get arrested. So they're just going to keep going. Typical Africans, they don't give up. I'm going to have to come back here. I have to. I only had half an hour literally here in the state, and that happened in half an hour. We're living in crazy times now. We really are living in crazy times. It's incredible how many times I've had to have arguments at border crossings and having to take out paperwork. This is stuff I haven't done in years. Visas. I got my passport stamped in France. I couldn't believe it. The French border force, they said, you can't be here without a visa. I said, of course I am, I'm British. They said, yeah, you're British, Brexit. You need a visa. Come on, I have to get you a visa. No, I wouldn't accept a visa on principle. On principle. No, you have to have a visa. So they stamped my passport and gave me a visa. I couldn't believe it. Oh man. Turned upside down. The world has been turned upside down. I don't think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get easier for people as it becomes the new as it becomes the new normal. I don't think it's going to get better. I think people are going to get used to what they're doing. They're going to get used to the situation. And that's it. They're going to continue doing whatever they want to try and take more of your freedoms. It's so sad. So sad. It was sad to see an old Italian man getting roughed up by a bunch of policemen. And these policemen, they looked like they were looking for it, you know? They all looked angry. Very un-Italian. Okay, Italian, they always say Italians are passionate, right? They say that Italians are passionate, but that was anger what I saw there. So I bet you guys are wondering, what am I doing on these trains? Well, I'm on the trains because you can cross borders and you don't have to take out your passport, take out proof that you live in a certain place. Oh man. Okay guys, that's it. This is too long. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna carry on filming. We're at a train station in a tunnel. Can you believe that? We're actually in a tunnel and there's a train station here. Well, so anyway, what I was saying is that the police are now in a situation where they have to stop as many migrants as possible, which means they're stopping black people, because that's the easiest way for them to spot a migrant. There we go, there you go. And thus, it is not a good place for people like us, the majority of you who are watching this. It's not a good time to travel around this area. So the situation couldn't be grimmer for our African brothers and sisters. The governments are using the situation now to take more authority, to take more authoritarian measures to controlling people. So the situation couldn't be grimmer for our brothers and sisters because, of course, restrictions are getting tighter. So in my opinion, I think we have a lot of people in power who are making a concerted effort to take as much control over their people as they can. They are literally taking liberties over our freedoms, over our personal freedoms. I think I saw on a British government website that it was illegal to go on vacation. They literally put these words on a British government website, the British government website. it's illegal to travel on vacation. I'm not sure how many Brits are here, but please ignore that. Ignore it. Because I tell you this now, when it comes to that time where everybody listens and everybody sees that as being the norm, and everybody listens to the government and they do as they say, they do as they're told, that's when we're in trouble. That's when we're in trouble. There is no way that I can stand tyranny in my life. I'm way too old, and I've been oppressed for way too long in order to accept it. Returning to Africa is no longer a choice, but an absolute necessity if I want to continue living the life that I used to live. Without a hedonistic white man in a suit telling me who I can speak to, where I can go, and what I must wear. So to all my African brothers and sisters who are risking life and limb to make the journey across the Mediterranean, please heed this warning. Things may not be as rosy as they seem.